Spoiler warning for both the Project Hail Mary movie and especially the book. The entirety of the United Nations have placed you in charge of perhaps the most important project in all of human history. The fate of the world rests in your hands. Experts predict a quarter of the world's population will not survive the next 30 years. You know it's more. You are highly educated, you are a talented administrator, you know how to get what you want when you want it, and you have a degree in history. And yet, you are not properly prepared to make the choices you will have to. No one is. You are Eva Stratt, and you are just as much a sacrifice to Project Hail Mary as Dubois and Shapiro, as Yao and Ilyukina, as Ryland Grace. At first watch or read, the idea that the UN would select a woman as the chair of the Petrova Task Force may seem far-fetched. After all, being the most qualified for a job has hardly prevented a position from going to the closest man in the past. It may seem like blind optimism regarding the world's progress and its perception of women, and you may think to yourself, I suppose I can suspend my disbelief. I would like to imagine a world where, even if it's ending, we'd trust a woman to save it. I know that I did. And then it all makes sense. When discussing what will become of her after Project Hail Mary is over, Strat has accepted her fate. She tells Ryland that she will likely go to prison for the rest of her life, accused of abusing the power she was handed on a silver platter in her efforts to save the world. It's clear that she's thought this through extensively and made her peace with it. Or maybe that's just something that people say but don't really mean. In times of high stress and ethical dilemmas with no real moral outcome, the world will always search for someone to blame. And who better to blame than the person at the head of it all? Who better to put in that position in the first place than a woman who isn't afraid to make those decisions, for better or for worse? Placing women as the scapegoats is far from an unfamiliar concept. Eve caused the fall of man. Pandora opened the box. Marie Antoinette caused France's economic ruin. Bridget Bishop was a witch. Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles. And, of course, Meghan Markle forced Harry away from the royal family. I expect that most women have felt like the scapegoat before. Whether it be family drama, a friend group collapse, or a breakup, it's always all too easy to find a woman to point at and proclaim, "That's her. That's the bitch." Eva Stratt's predicament is perfectly reminiscent of that of the glass cliff. Originally coined by researchers Michelle K. Ryan and S. Alexander Haslam in 2005, the term plays on the ideas of the glass elevator, which benefit men in the workforce, versus the glass ceiling women are expected to break. According to Ryan and Haslam 2005, quote, while women are now achieving more high-profile positions, they are more likely than men to find themselves on a glass cliff, such that their positions are risky or precarious, end quote. We can see this in Strat's situation. She's been made essentially the most powerful person on the planet, but at the cost of any semblance of stability. A perfect example of this is when, in the book, Strat was sued for copyright infringement. A part of the construction of the Hail Mary was copying the entirety of human knowledge and making it accessible to the crew. She showed up to court only to use her international immunity, though she knew this wouldn't last forever. She stated that the knowledge base was necessary for the purposes of the mission. And that's the key word here. Necessary. Was everything that Strat orchestrated good? No. Far from it. She undeniably disrupted entire ecosystems and demonstrated an utter disregard for people's autonomy time and time again in the name of humanity. And, all things considered, it's hard to hold any of it against her. It was that, or the extinction of the planet. It was that, or endless suffering, until everything was nothing at all. We, as the readers, or we as the viewers, understand this. We see her humanized. We understand the weight of everything she does. But would the world? If we lived in Project Hail Mary, would we be so forgiving? Or would we join what would inevitably become the majority and condemn her? There is one decision made by Strat which stands out from the rest. And that is the decision to, against his will, force Grace into the Project Hail Mary mission. To drug him, put him in a coma, force an amnesia on him that would last just long enough to ensure that he got the job done. This is one action she takes which the narrative largely doesn't try to justify, likely due to the fact it's told by Grace himself, who never truly forgives her. But Strat, the character, does justify it. She knows that the chances for the project to work are already extremely slim. Its namesake is fitting, after all. And 3 days before the plan is supposed to be set into action, both her scientists die in a shocking explosion due to a measuring error. If they delay, fatality expectations rise exponentially. Grace is her third in line. He didn't know it, but he is. There's a fourth person in line, but where does that get them? An already slim chance of success squeezed to be even slimmer? She can't take that risk. Strat tells Grace that he's a coward who refuses to take risks. And in many ways, she's right. But so is she. More selflessly, one could argue, but in that very same conversation, she only proves that to her, risks are non-negotiable. Everything that she does is a risk, but the more that she can optimize her chances, the better. Strat's character demonstrates a strictly utilitarian mindset at every fork in the road. The utilitarianism ethical framework is a form of consequentialism that states that action should be taken to maximize overall happiness or pleasure and minimize overall unhappiness or pain. In the astrophage dilemma, this would mean the decision which has the greatest survival chances for humanity is the one that should be made. Strat had a fourth in line, but to her, there wasn't another option. Grace was her solution. There was never going to be a straightforward path void of any moral failures. Strat accepted the role of scapegoat. She took the power that she was given and didn't doubt for a second the motives behind it. Rather, she stepped up. She was going to do what needed to be done because if not her, who else? If it was her life or the Earth's, the choice was clear. She cared about Grace, but not as much as she cared about the population. Not as much as she cared about doing what she thought was right. Grace tells Strat as she explains her decision to keep telling herself whatever lets her sleep at night. But I don't think that's necessary to her. In fact, I think she'd make that decision 1,000,000 times over if she had to. Eva Stratt's role in Project Hail Mary is applicable to so many other aspects of our world, whether it be politics, business, pop culture, or even our social lives. The United Nations pushed her onto the glass cliff and didn't look back. The people around her considered her almost inhuman. Grace thought she was a friend until she wasn't. The world found her to blame. She was a woman, and she was evil. How could she? Hence, the witch trials of Eva Stratt. Okay, so total transparency. After all the love the last video essay got, and just I loved the comment section with all the really supportive and really sweet people who are also really touched by this movie. I was really just thinking, okay, so like, what if I just look for more media to do Arroway's perspectives on, and like that's just what I do now. And believe me, that is not off the table. I will very likely continue doing Arroway's perspectives and takes and stuff. But I couldn't not talk about Strat and how interesting of a character she is and all, because obviously, you know, we don't have enough Strat takes in the world or analyses. No. And just specifically, I finally, after a little bit, thought of that glass cliff term again and how applicable it was to Strat, and I was like, all right, we gotta write an essay. So hopefully we also like this one. I also think that a lot of women can find it relatable. I've certainly felt like a scapegoat before in situations, and I think a lot of people do. But yeah, I will probably get back to Arroway's takes and stuff in the future. All of the, you know, perceptions of that video were very, very sweet, and it was really appreciated. So as long as I have motivation to keep doing this, I'm gonna keep coming back. Unfortunately, some people in my real life did find this because for some reason I have no sides of the internet that are just mine anymore. So if you actually know me in real life and you're watching this, stop it, please. Thank you. But yeah, hopefully I keep uploading. Hopefully I keep having ideas. We'll see how long this Project Hail Mary kick lasts. But I hope everyone enjoyed, and I'll see you again.